You've heard of Elf on a Shelf. How about Dimitri on a Christmas tree? Y'all who have followed the channel for a while know that I'm a big fan of the 7.62 by 25 Tokarev cartridge. I think it's a wonderful performer and historically very interesting. I consider it a minor tragedy that the big winner out of the fallout of World War II ended up being 9x19 Parabellum. I think there's an argument to be made that performance-wise, 7.62 by 25 offers some advantages, but the overall length of 7.62 by 25 makes it difficult to convert common pistol cartridges. Even the longer ones like 45 auto or 10 millimeter are still too short for those frames to be suitable for a 7.62 Tokarev conversion. So the cartridge is effectively dead, which makes me sad because I really like it a lot. But the institutional momentum of 9mm is not going to be overcome unless and until we get some massive jump in technology, probably something that we aren't even thinking about yet, or most of us aren't even thinking about yet. Till then, I think 9x19 is going to be the standard. And that's fine, except that I would really like to have something a little bit more or a little bit less antiquated than a standard TT33 or like I don't really like the CZ52 pistols at all. I thought that it would be nice to have something a little bit more modern. So this video is going to delve into what happens when an unhealthy obsession with a silly, antiquated bottleneck cartridge comes into contact with a cheap, sacrificial lamb of a handgun. That is not this one. This is a 1941 Tula, non-import, no safety, obviously. So this is an early war Tokarev, would have seen the entire conflict. It's really in quite nice condition considering all that. Numbers matching even down to the magazine. This is a special piece in my personal collection. I wouldn't mess with this one, but I would, and I did, mess with this one. This started life as a 1953 Romanian, so post-war and not Russian Tokarev. I got this at a police evidence auction from Michigan, suburbs of Detroit. I would love to know which homie was packing the Tokarev, but apparently somebody was, and the thing came up for auction. It did not have a magazine, which is no problem because I have several for my 41 Tula. So I placed a silly bid, and my wife would be horrified to know how many silly bids I place every week. I probably place 10 or 20 really offensive bids every week. They're bids that should not win any of the auctions that I'm bidding on. They're silly bids, straight up offensive because they're so low. And I got an email notification, forgot the auction was even going off. I got an email notification telling me that I had won this thing for 160 American coconuts. Can you believe that? 160 bucks. So there are still deals to be had. Some of you are going to fuss that I tore up a Romanian Tokarev, a military surplus pistol. I'm going to be honest with you, my money, my gun, and the history, quote unquote, surrounding a post-war Romanian Tokarev with an added import safety is frankly not that interesting to me. I have much cooler stuff that is in line with my historical interest. This really isn't. I bought it. I bid on it, not planning to win. But if I did, I knew that I was going to carve it up. So we'll go tip to butt and talk about the changes, the modernizations, if you will, to this almost 100-year-old pistol design. It's sort of a adaptation on the Browning tilting barrel system. So from the tip, we did, looks like about a 45-degree crown on there. A lot of the work on this was farmed out to my buddy and fellow Marine, Ray. I will link his handle, his Instagram handle, somewhere, probably in the corner, probably seeing it right now, so that you can get in touch with him if you want to have a build done. He mostly specializes in 1911 variants, but made an exception for me. We're old friends, and went to work on this Tokarev. So we have a nice steeply crowned barrel there, which was diamond-like coated, DLC coated, in black. It's very smooth, very svelte finish. We cut the slide for 1911 sights, went with a red fiber optic front, and making sure I'm not missing anything, we checkered the front strap of the grip frame and also the trigger guard. The front face of the trigger guard has been checkered. Because I have bigger hands, I like to hook that trigger guard with my support hand. It's maybe not necessarily the way that I would teach pistol shooting, but it is a tried and true method that works well for me. We have an undercut on the frame. Let me grip just a little bit higher. Really, really nice checkering on the frame. Thanks, Ray. You hooked it up there. I've got a checkered magazine release. Just a little bit more tactile. Ray plugged up the import safety holes. We ground those flush, so those are plugged up, thankfully. And we're just going to run this thing half cock. Grips are by Marshall Grips. I worked with them to do these on a pretty much custom basis because I don't have an import safety, and I wanted them to extend to the top of the frame, just beneath where the frame meets the slide. Came out really nice, like them a lot. The hammer has been bobbed. The hammer has been bobbed and checkered. It's a nice purchase, and tucked away just a bit, so it's a little bit more snag free. The rear sight is a MMC, if you can see that. It is an adjustable shrouded rear sight, which when paired with that red fiber gives me nice ability to make precise shots, great contrast. I really, really love these sights. This thing shoots the lights out up close, 25 yards, have no problem connecting on 4-inch plate. And I have no trouble at all reaching out to 100 yards as a very flat shooter with a man-sized target. Going back here, we have some checkering on the back strap, and I think that might about cover it for mods. Ray did a trigger job on it, of course. And of course the elephant in the room. The color, this was done in my Cerakote shop. I was going for the post-war plum coloration that we see on a lot of Russian stuff. It crops up on SVT 40 bolts all the time. And I was going for roughly that, and I got close. I think I'm a shade or two too light probably, but it looks sort of like that plum post-war refurb coloration. And there's nothing to stop me from jumping in my shop at my leisure and blasting it down and trying again. But I'm not mad at it. I think it looks pretty cool. And it is a effectively modernized TT33. You're still stuck with the core design elements of the Tokarev pistol, for better or for worse. It's a little bit more forgiving in terms of the handling. The handling certainly has been improved quite a bit. The sights are much, much, much better, but you're effectively still limited to a single action only 8+1 handgun that is all steel and pretty heavy. So are you worse off carrying this than you would be carrying a 1911? Probably not much. About the same capacity. You have similar weight problems. This is probably thinner than most 1911s, but similar weight problems, similar capacity issue. Although 9 is not, it's not terrible. Like I've been known to carry a 5-shot snub nose, so 9 is respectable. But you're still, held back by all the limitations of using an early or mid 20th century design. as a modern carry option. It probably will see some holster time just because I think it's cool. And it's a fun cartridge to hand load for. I've got some designs for rolling up some 72 grain hollow points that I'm going to scream as hot as the gun will take. Working up slowly, of course. But yeah, this is the Project Carry Toke in all its glory. I've got a few hundred rounds through it, and it's quite a fun little shooter. If you guys have any interest in building out a custom pistol, please do get with my buddy Ray. He's a maestro, and as always, be kind to the world as you bump into it.